السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. زينب, how are you? I'm teacher Imam from Open Academy. Let's start with each other today with مخارج الحروف, the articulation point. This is a speech system, as you see. This is a speech system, okay? Okay. How many main articulation points on the speech system? We have 5 main articulation points, okay? Again, we have 5 main articulation points. The first one, as you see, this is called the throat, okay? Again, this is called the throat, okay? And this number 2, this is الجوف. What is الجوف? The empty space on the throat and mouth, okay? Again, the first one, this is called the throat. And the next one is called الجوف, the empty space, the throat and mouth. And this is called the tongue, okay? This is the tongue. And this is 2 lips. This is number 4. And number 5, this is called the nasal cavity or nasal passage. Again, we have 5 articulation points, okay? Okay, this is called the throat, the empty space in the mouth and throat. This is the tongue, the 2 lips. This is the nasal cavity or nasal passage. In the speech system, this is the teeth, and this is the upper palate. Upper palate consists into 2 palates. This is the first one is called hard palate, and this is the next one is called soft palate, and with the uvula, okay? And this is the lower jaw, okay? Okay, Bismillah. We have in the throat 3 articulation points for 6 letters. Again, we have in the throat 3 articulation points for 6 letters. These 6 letters called همزة, ها, عين, ها, غين, خاء. Yeah, we took it before. But we have in the throat 3 articulation points for 6 letters. And in the empty space of the throat and mouth, we have 1 articulation point for 3 linside letters. Yeah, 3 mad letters, okay? Okay, and in the tongue, we have 10 articulation points for 18 letters, okay? Okay, perfect. And in the 2 lips, we have 2 articulation points for 4 letters, okay? In the nasal cavity, we have 1 articulation point for الغنة, but focus. غنة is not letter. This is a characteristic, okay? Again, how many articulation points for throat to how many letters? 3 articulation points for 6 letters. Perfect. In the empty space and the throat and mouth, we have 1 articulation point for 3 linside letters, 3 mad letters. Perfect. In the tongue, we have 10 articulation points for 18 letters. Perfect. In the nasal cavity, we have 1 articulation point for الغنة, but focus, غنة, no letter. This is called characteristic, okay? Can you tell me what is the غنة? Yes, perfect. This is the nasal sound articulated from the nasal cavity. Perfect. Good job, mashallah. And the last one, this is called 2 lips. We have in 2 lips 2 articulation points for 4 letters. Okay? Okay. Let's continue. We have 2 types in articulation point. The first one is called specific articulation point. And the second one is called non-specific articulation point or approximate articulation point. What's the difference between specific articulation point and approximate articulation point? This specific articulation point relies on a specific place on the area of the tongue, throat, or lips. How can I get it? Focus with me. I think we talk the throat. On the throat, we have 3 articulation points for 6 letters. This is 6 letters, همزة, ها, عين, ها, غين, خاء. I want to ask you now, what is the articulation point of العين? Yeah, you tell me the throat. Yes. Yeah, where in the throat? Where? We have a specific area in the throat. Where? Which one of them? Yeah, the middle of the throat. وسط الحلق. Yes, perfect. If you can get a specific area, this is called a specific articulation point. Now, I'm going to ask you what's the articulation point of الحاء. Yes, you can tell me the middle part of the throat or وسط الحلق. Yes, perfect. This is the specific articulation point. For example, we have the tongue, throat, and lips. Okay? Okay, perfect. Another one, we have the approximate articulation point. Okay? The first one is called, approximate articulation point does not rely on a specific place or area. This is like, I think, الجوف, the empty space of the throat and mouth. We talk now, the empty space of the throat and mouth has one articulation point for three lengthened letters, three mad letters. When I ask you now, we have three mad letters, ألف mad, ياء mad, and واو mad. When I ask you now, ألف mad articulated from, yes, الجوف. Yeah, which space on the jawf? Can you tell me? Yes, not a specific place. So this is called approximate articulation point. Okay? Okay, perfect. We will stop now, inshallah. And we will continue in the next session. Thank you for listening. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.